Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ljs Garage. It's been a little bit since I've done anything on this motorcycle, so I figured I'd do an oil change as well as give you guys like an update. Unfortunately, I haven't ridden this bike much at all. I bought this bike back in 2019, and believe it or not, it's only got about 1,800 miles on it. So, by the way, I'm kind of speeding through this because I've already done a video on this bike. If you look on my channel, 2019 Ninja 650 maintenance. So this is really just hanging out. So ever since I moved to Ohio, I really just have not been riding like I used to, unfortunately. And now that I'm working from home, it's even more difficult because I really just don't go to the office, so then I don't take the bike. On top of that, I've got the Jeep and I've still got the M3 sitting behind me, so it makes it a little bit hard when I've got 3 cars to give them all equal love, and unfortunately the bike has been getting the short end of that stick. So I'm gonna do a quick oil change. I just realized I don't even have like all my normal pans and everything, so I'm just using these old Tupperware containers and everything. So we're just gonna do a quick oil change. The bike's already warmed up. I did move it up and down, let it idle for a little bit, and got the oil flowing. So step 1 is to get the oil nice and warm so it'll be more viscous. I always like to say vicious, but I know it's viscous or whatnot. But yeah, I'm gonna try not to let this one distract me too much. Okay, you're just gonna walk. Can you move? Can you go? Just go. Go. Dogs, I swear. But yeah, we're gonna get this oil going pretty easy, and I'll show you some steps and whatnot. If you're new to the Kawasaki world, welcome. Consider hitting that subscribe button. Weird dog. But the reason why I haven't done a lot of motorcycle content was because, unlike cars, with motorcycles, even though I've been riding for 7, 8, some 9 years, it's a lot more risky to ride other people's bikes than it is to drive someone else's car. And I have a hard time doing it, and it's something that I feel weird asking people to let me do, so I don't. There's a lot of bikes that I have the opportunity to, like the BMW S1000. I've been wanting to do one of those for the longest time, and it's my favorite bike, but I can't do a video on it because I don't want to drop someone's bike. So there's that liability. The weather, there's also scheduling. And so the bikes just don't work with the schedule, as well as when I go riding. If you ride motorcycles often, you probably know this, but if you go riding with people and their license plates aren't there, or their license plates tend to disappear, let's just say it means that they're about to have some fun. So you can either get lost and find your own crew, or you can just hang around and have some fun too. And unfortunately, I can't do that for legal reasons, so I can just go home. So the other thing too is just riding around here is a little bit difficult. So there's this guy, he's driving next to me, and there's a lady, she's on the curvy side, and so he's admiring the curves. But he forgets that there's a motorcycle next to him, and so he drifts into my lane, and I have to honk at him, and it scared the crap out of me, and then he went back to doing that. So he said, "Oh, my bad," and then looked over and goes, and enjoyed his view. So I realized that driving in the city comes with a lot of risks that I don't necessarily always want to take. So as I've turned 30, I just don't ride as much as I used to love and enjoy, and every time I get on it, I'm always like, man, a lot of people I've seen go down, so the fear starts to go up and the fun starts to go down. And I've just kind of been struggling with that battle, or I've been struggling with that balance lately. So it's not the worst thing, but if you've been riding long enough, once you start to have relationships and your family and everything like that, you start to worry about riding. So anyways, that's my rant. So if you join this channel to watch me do bike stuff, I'm sorry I haven't been doing a lot of it, and it just isn't as easy. And same with the dealerships, they're not as easy, especially around here. We don't have a lot of them in Dayton, so I have to kind of do a little bit of adventuring to get my hands on certain bike. But yeah, let's get this fairing off and get to work. So the first screw I'm going to take off is right here. This guy's already been loosened because I loosened him. I've been doing some yard work, so that's why I look a little bit rustic today. Alright, clip one out of the way. Alright, normally I just move this whole thing out of the way because it's easier, but I'm being lazy today. Otherwise I would just take this whole piece out of this way. So I just don't want to. Luckily this is just a little 17 millimeter, and I couldn't find another bolt at the store, so unfortunately I'm gonna use the same one. If you or anyone that you know is interested in a 2019 Ninja 650 and they're in Ohio or want to come adventure to Ohio, let me know. Alright, so I got that out of the way. I don't know. Every time I ride it, I would say that I have fun every single time, but I have way more fun in that and feel better on that. Whereas here, you get a too windy day, too rainy day, too much traffic. It just makes for a not fun time really fast. And this bike's not that heavy, so you get blown around the road. So I understand now why people like their Harleys with a little bit more weight, but just something about the way sport bikes handle, I just love so much. This is why you do this trick. Alright, I'm just gonna let that drain. I gotta get over to the other side. Should have brought some, let me get some rags. Got this out of the way. So now I've got one of these. If you don't have like 20 different oil filter tools, well, what are you doing? Yeah, I have a bunch of these, but I like this one. It goes on pretty good. And I'm just gonna grab this guy. So I move this out of the way. Now I've got the oil filter there. I loosened that. Sorry about the focus. Come on, focus. Anyways, you can see the oil filter right back here. I'll put this rag on the exhaust so that way once it's all loosened, I can pull this out without making too much of a mess. Alright, so I got that out. I'm gonna let this drain a little bit more, and then it's time to put her all back together and fill her up. The manual says anywhere between 1.7 and 1.8 liters, and you'll be good. And if you're worried about where you fill this, right here is where you would fill. Let me open that up. It's time to get the new filter on, so I'm not too picky about oils. I'm not one of those oil fanatics, but I'm just using Castrol. As long as it's 4-stroke, and it's got to have API SL and JSL MA2 standards. So as long as it's got those things and says 4-stroke, you can use full synthetic, regular, conventional, semi-synthetic, whatever you want. I'm not going to get into the oil filter or oil wars with anybody. I'm sure some people are loyal to whatever they are. I just go with whatever is affordable. So as usual, you're going to add a little bit into your filter. Then you're going to take your little finger and you're going to add a little ring around here just to oil this up. Make sure you get a nice good seal on it. And then, let me grab my glove. Ugh. For some reason I hate how oil feels on my hands, but whatever. And you're going to go ahead and get that on there nice and tight. And if you've done this 1 or 2 times, you don't really need to use a torque thing. Just get it nice and tight. Now I'm just going to give this guy a little wipe down. Afterwards, whenever I get done with every single thing, I'll give it a nice little wipe down with contact cleaner. But for now, just a quick little wipe down. I'm going to head over on that side. I'm going to put the plug back in, and then it's time to fill this thing up. Alright, so now that everything is back together, make sure your drain plug's in, oil filter is nice and tight, torque specs are in the user manual if you are one of those types, but if you've done this enough, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and use this funnel. This little ugly looking dude, but he's served his purpose for years now. So if you've never done this before, on the sides of these, there's a little clear strip where you can see how much along with all the measurements, so you can make sure that you're right on the money. And then after you've done the first one, let it sit for a minute, check for some leaks. Well, I should say check if you have leaks. The goal is to have no leaks. Put everything back together, did everything that I did in the beginning, but in reverse. And like I said, if anybody's interested in this 2019, reach out to me, let me know. Instagram, my email's in the bottom of all these videos. But yeah, I'll entertain some offers. Otherwise, I probably won't be doing much motorcycle content, unfortunately, unless my mind changes, which I don't think it is at this point. And I think this thing deserves a better home than what I'm giving it. So it's just sitting through winters, getting cold, getting old, and it deserves to be ridden, rode, riddeted, all that stuff. So thank you guys for checking out another video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.